Using good quality watercolor paper is absolutely essential if you want to achieve superior results in your painting. But it is also expensive, and so it's really important to make the most of any paper that you buy. Now, personally, I like to work in a lot of different sizes. I like to let the composition sort of dictate how big or small my work is going to be, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. So I find it's much more economical to just buy those large sheets of watercolor paper, 1 or 2 at a time, at a good art store and divide them up, rather than buying a bunch of different books that are all one size where you just use 2 or 3 sheets of the paper. Because as you develop as an artist, you may find you're suddenly gravitating toward one size or another. Like you might find you're really digging 11 by 14s and you no longer are that interested in 5 by 7s. And then you've got all this extra paper sitting around the studio unused. The money you spent on that could be much better invested in just buying a sheet or 2 of large paper at a time and dividing it up. So in this video, I am going to show you ways that you can divide up a large sheet of watercolor paper so that there is no waste. And there is a technique to this, so I'm going to show you how I do it, and I'm going to explain why. In case you don't know, my name is Brett Renee. I'm an artist, and welcome to my channel. So this is a large piece of paper that I bought at my local art store. It's 22 by 30. This is the standard size of pieces of paper like this. This particular piece is an Arches 140-pound cold pressed paper. It's awesome paper. I love this paper. You can put a lot of water on this paper and it can take it. You can put tons of washes on this side and use it, and then you can even flip it over and you could paint on the other side and it still works brilliantly. Now this paper comes from France. I have been told it is actually pronounced arche, so my apologies to any French people. I live in North America and we all call it arches here, but same awesome paper. And the way you know you have arche or arches paper is that there is an embossing on the bottom here in the corner. That will indicate not only the quality and the brand, but also it tells you what is the right side up of the paper. Now I noticed there's not much of a difference. Like the side that you're supposed to paint on is actually a little smoother, has a little more texture underneath, but they both work well. But that's just an indicator if that's something you're concerned about. So when you divide this paper up, you want to divide it up into standard sizes like 11 by 14, 5 by 7, 8 by 10. And there's a reason for this, because when you go to frame your painting, you don't want to be paying for custom framing. It's very expensive. So there are really high quality, wonderful ready-made frames these days that you can buy. It'd be much easier if you already have your painting in a standard size and then you can just pop it in a ready-made frame and you're done. So that's how I divide up my paper, is into standard sizes. And right now what I'm going to do is show you some various ways that you can divide this up so that you use all of the paper. So I'm going to pop some diagrams on the screen so you have a visual. So the first way that I divide it up is into 1 16 by 20 and 2 11 by 14s. And then you have just a little strip left over. It's like a 2-inch wide strip that you can use for test paper. So for instance, like this, you have something left over. What's great about this is having this is when you're painting and you're mixing colors and you just want to, test, make sure something is the right color before you put it on the painting. It's just nice to have a little piece of paper that's the same material as what you're painting on nearby. So I don't consider that waste. I think that's just another tool that I have at my disposal when I split this paper up. Now, another way that you can split this paper up is into 4 8 by 10s and 2 11 by 14s. It's the same dimensions as before, but we're getting 6 pieces out of it instead of just 3. And then you still have that little test strip. And then another way you could do it is if you really like 11 by 14s, you could divide it up into 4 pieces that are 11 by 14. And then you will have a little test strip along the top. Now, if you want to work smaller, you can divide this paper up into 16 pieces that are 7.5 by 5.5. So you can make your own sketchbook out of this, or you'd have a bunch of little sketchbook pieces. It would be great. 5 by 7 is a really common frame size. So if you bought matted frames, the 5.5 by 7.5 would fit in there. There'd be just a little bit of a border that would be 1/4 inch. And when you're painting, you could tape that off and that would fit behind the mat and your painting would be actually 5 by 7. But if you are buying frames that are unmatted, I would recommend that you divide up this paper into 16 5 by 7 pieces, and then you will have a little bit of test paper left over. So now I'm going to show you how to divide up this paper, and I'm just going to say right off the bat, never use scissors on this paper. Do not cut this paper. This paper, I don't know if you can see it, it's got this beautiful deckled edge along the side. That is a sign of artisan paper. It's professional looking. If you cut it, you're going to get a straight edge. Even with the best measuring and the best scissors, it's really hard to maintain a very straight line. And the edge is going to be straight. It's not going to match this edge, and the paper's not going to look right. So what you want to do with this paper is you want to tear it, and it's not that difficult to do. So I'm going to show you right now. What you need to do this is obviously paper. You need a yardstick and a pencil, and then you need a flat surface to do it on, like a big table or the floor. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to set this up on the floor and show you how I divide this paper up into a 16 by 20, two 11 by 14s, and a little test piece, which is my favorite way to divide this up. So let's get started. Okay, so here's my paper. I'm going to divide this in half. So I'm going to have it be 14 inches on this side and 16 inches on this side. So I'm going to start by measuring, let's see, 16 inches. Okay, here. I'm going to do this in a few places. So let's see. That looks good. Just make a little mark. It doesn't have to be big. And what you're doing with this is you just really want to be as accurate as possible. So I'm sure you've heard the phrase, measure twice, cut once. So I double check this, that it's measuring up 14 on this side from my mark. It is. Good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with my marks that I've got here. That looks good. Now, this, I will admit, this does work better with a metal yardstick. This is the one I've got right now. What you want to do is put weight on this, because if you tear the paper and there's no weight, it's going to rip under the yardstick and then it's going to get ruined. So you take a deep breath, put as much weight on here as you can with your hand. I even just put my whole body in it. Pick up the paper and tear. And you're just going to kind of move down a little bit at a time. Just go right into the yardstick. Okay, just pull it right into there. And just take your time. Don't rush. Okay, almost done. Again, put a lot of pressure. And one more. There we go. Now we're in half. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the little test piece and make this 20 inches. So let's see. Let's do it this way. So 20. Okay. 20. Let me see here. 20. You want to be careful. You can go inside the deckled edge a little bit, because that's not really part of the measurement. So I'm kind of checking that I'm inside the right thing here. Okay, good. That. There's my 20. And if you want, you can test it and just see, do I have 2 inches here? Remember, it's 22, and I do. So I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm going to line these lines up. Okay. It doesn't look straight. Let's see here. There we go. That looks straight. Again, place pressure and tear it. There you go. There's my nice little test piece, and I can divide this up if I want to, or 2 or 3 pieces. And this is my 16 by 20. So now I'm going to divide this into 11 by 14s. So I'm going to go ahead and measure 11, obviously. Let's see, it's 11. Okay. 11. Right now. and 11. Okay. And I can measure it on this side just to make sure I've got it. So I've got 11, 11, and 11. Perfect. And then I'm going to line this up. Let's see. Make sure it looks straight. My lines are straight. Okay, this last one. Take a deep breath. And push and tear. Okay. And there you go, 2 11 by 14s. And you can just see, you've just got this nice edge that matches the rest of it. Paper's beautiful. So now I'm ready to paint. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, please like or subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.